My name is Aljamain the FunkMaster's Sterling. I'm from Uniondale, New York. I'm here in Shanghai, China. And I'm here to fight and compete for the UFC. I remember my first jiu-jitsu matches, I thought I wasn't gonna get nervous, and I was like, oh shit, I'm really nervous. But this was when like 2011, 2010. This is like years ago. I think you gotta just remember, it's just fun. Just gotta have fun. The hard part is this, coming in the room, training every day, this is the hard part. You go in there, like this is what you train for, right? So my mentality is always, go out there and have fun. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. You can't really predict the future. All you can do is prepare for it as best as you can. And I think that's the best advice I've ever been given. And I feel like once I feel I've done everything, the competition or the fight is, you know, that's just whatever is gonna happen. Because you can't predict it. It's gonna happen. You're gonna make the walk. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna compete. So if you get too nervous and then you don't do stuff that you're normally good at, you don't want to be in that position, right? Because then you're gonna go home after the match and you're gonna be thinking about all these things you could have did, you should have did. For me, it's always been, all right, I know what I need to do. And I think that gives me the confidence, and it's just, as long as I'm in shape, I feel happy and I feel confident, and I just tell myself it's time to have some fun.
Weights, lifting, like very clean, organized, you know, this is very beautiful. And in America, like most of the gym, not good. You know, very few gym is clean and organized and taking care of it. Even jiu-jitsu gyms are very, you know, disgusting. But we should not make excuse, you know, like we always just push, you know. Most famous fighters are from like poor country, poor family, or they have a lot of problems, right? But this is good when you have problems and you have work and you have family, whatever, but you keep getting better. You guys understand, right? For me, like I think the best wrestling for MMA is folk style, like American, like whatever Aljo used to do, like American wrestling. But jiu-jitsu is the best one, jiu-jitsu, like, because jiu-jitsu you can still learn like a basic wrestling, right? Yeah. Basic, whatever works for your take. You can figure it out, your takedown. You don't have to do like a crazy takedown, long as maybe full guarding, whatever works for you, right? Yeah.
Thank you guys for allowing us to come out and train with you guys on Friday at the other location and just being a part of the Leone team. So my game plan with Brian Ortega was to be very cautious of the takedown entries because I know he has a very good guillotine choke. I do BJJ, I'm a black belt, I know he's a black belt. We're both from Gracie lineages. So with that said, I knew he was gonna be sitting and waiting on that for me to panic wrestle or to take a bad shot and for him to look for the opportunity to capitalize on looking for submissions. He thought that his striking was gonna be a lot better than mine, but I got to show the world that I can strike. People seem to forget. I don't know if they're watching tape or they just kind of remember only the grappling sequences, but I think I'm a pretty good striker when I want to be, and it's just about when I want to use it for the right style of matchup. And with this matchup, two high-level grapplers, I thought it would be best to get the path to victory if we could figure it out with the striking department, and I got to show that my striking was the better. And of course, once I got the takedown, I was able to show some dominant ground and pound as well. So coming into this fight with Brian Ortega, we were supposed to fight at 145 pounds. The day of the fight, I'm about half a pound away. I started my weight cut, the final weight cut, 2 pounds left, which is about a little less than 1 kilo. And they came in when I had maybe about a half a pound to go. And they told me that Brian was being taken to the hospital. They offered the opportunity for me to stay in the fight, possibly switch opponents. I said, well, I'm here to fight. I haven't fought since December. I want to get back and compete. To fly all the way over here to do a long training camp and then not fight would be heartbreaking, you know? We just put so much time into this, so much money. All my teammates, training partners, coaches, they're flying out across the country to another country to come help and corner me. So for me not to compete, it would be really, really tough for everybody. So with that said, I accepted the fight. We made it a catch weight. I think this was the first time a fighter has gone to the hospital to get IVs and we're still allowed to compete. And I think it's because he didn't actually pass out. They just stopped the weight cutting before it got too severe to a point where he wasn't gonna be able to make the walk. So fortunately, we were able to still have the fight. I thought Brian recovered really, really well. I've seen him look bad on the scale before and come out and get dominant wins. So with that said, it was a hard decision to make, but I knew I wanted to compete, and no matter what, I was going to make sure I was competing out here in Shanghai against somebody, and I'm glad it was Brian Ortega. This was an extremely long camp. We did the Bali Leone camp in Bali at Bali MMA, and I was hoping to get a fight sooner rather than later. That whole time I was waiting while I was out there for a name. We didn't get anything. Now, a few months later, we were able to get a fight with Brian Ortega after Merab's fight against Sean O'Malley in the rematch. They gave me this great matchup. I thought it was a really good opportunity against a big name, which is what I want. I want to fight the legends. I want to fight the OGs of the game. I want to fight the fighters, the tough fights that people care about, the people know, and the guys who they already have the credentials. So for me to get a fight with Brian Ortega was huge. And of course, to get a win over a guy like that who fought for the belt twice, almost submitted the champion Volkanovski in 2 different occasions, had a really tough fight with Max Holloway, but never quit. There's something to be said about beating a guy like that, especially the way that I did it. No one's ever finished him other than the doctor. And I think the fight showed that. So having such a long camp, sometimes it can be a bit frustrating, but I'm glad it all worked out in the end. We got back in the win column, and I'm super excited to hopefully fight for a world title sometime at the end of this year or hopefully early next year. The training at the Leone Bali MMA camp was really good, really high level guys. It was a great time for me just to get to train with all these different people from all over the world. Gabriel Salza, Kainan, Daniel, just learning from all these guys. I don't know and remember everybody's names. There were so many guys there, so many girls there. It was just a great community, a great environment to be around and to be able to pick the brains of different people, learn different techniques. I got to learn the Choi bar, which I've learned before, but I never really got to work it because with MMA, it's really difficult sometimes to use certain techniques. But it was nice to have someone who was kind of an expert in that position and be able to explain things like that. So I've gotten to learn a ton of different things and stuff that I still use to this day whenever I'm training my grappling. And it was just a really exciting time altogether. I wasn't sure what the reception was going to be with the Chinese fans when Brian and I were going to make the walk to the octagon. I thought I got a pretty good pop. It was a lot of love. I thought Brian got some good love too, so it was relatively even. I wasn't sure what to expect. It was cool to see though. It was nice and welcoming, and it was good to see and feel the appreciation from the fans, especially from all the way across from the other side of the world. It's one thing when we fight and compete in the States. I always say sometimes in the US we're a bit spoiled with sports. So we have all these different sports. We're not as appreciated when it comes to MMA, but the diehard fans who do watch and they do support, we get a lot of love from those guys. But when we go overseas, it's always nice because no matter what country I've been to, anyone who's familiar with the UFC or MMA, they generally just love us. And that's always nice. Sometimes it can be a bit much, but it's definitely nice. The fans could definitely expect us to come back to Shanghai. The one thing I will say, when we first came here, the first trip, none of my apps worked. so I did not have a good time. But then once I started to get the hang of things, learning the Alipay system, learning how to use the DD and things like that, it made things a lot more enjoyable, especially for this trip. We were actually able to get around, see different parts of Shanghai, go to the Bund, and just hang out and actually be able to travel like a tourist. You know, I like to travel, and when I travel, I like to become a local. I like to do things that the local people do, not the things that all the tourists do. So I like to travel, go to the different places, the hot spots. We got to go to Yew Garden. We got to go to the tallest like building in the world for dinner. A couple of fancy restaurants and things like that. Got to walk around Nanjing Road and things. So all in all, we got to have a good time and drink some tea of the local people and experiment and just enjoy the culture. Everything's been going really, really well with the Leone team. I've been super happy and excited to be a part of this team and this group. Right now we're here to check out the new collection, see some of the new upcoming gear and things like that for the lifestyle brand that's gonna be coming out soon. I'm excited about that. Can't wait to see what it looks like. And all in all, I'm just excited to be a part of the team, and thank you guys for having me, and make sure you guys support Leone. Let's go, baby.